Hello everyone, how are you all this morning? It's March 1st and I haven't been on for a while. I've had I had a cold all of January it seemed, and I just was at the dentist a few days ago, and so I'm still just a little Novocaine sore. And this morning I'm going for blood work, and then I have an annual in a couple weeks, so I'm just a little off my game. But I wanted to give you a March tour. I wanted to start this March off right, and give you a tour as to what is, so that as the month progresses, I can show you what will be. So let me just turn you around. There we go. And let's start off at this end. And you know, this is our hibiscus. We've still got a few yellow leaves here from winter, where we had some really cold weather. But you can see that the hibiscus is already starting to leaf out, and we'll clean that up. But I mean, I had trimmed both of them way back. And the agapanthus, of course, is really starting to come back. Last year I had a tomato plant. I had those little Everglades tomatoes that came up as volunteers in my fig plant here. This is a Chicago cold hardy fig that hasn't started to leaf out yet, but there was a volunteer tomato, and those Everglades tomatoes, they like to run. And so it just it used this agapanthus as its frame, and it really weighed down the agapanthus. But as you can see, the weeds are growing really well. I've weeded here a few times, and I usually use the grass clippings with cardboard, and that really keeps it down. But this kind of already got away from me, so we'll check on that later. When we start cutting our grass and stuff, I'll cover this with cardboard, and then that will suppress the weeds. I won't have to come out and weed it. But you can see this cold hardy fig is just finally lost like the last of its leaves, and I suspect in maybe another month, the buds are actually, it almost looks like buds are starting to swell, like it's going to send out some leaves here pretty soon. I probably could get a cutting or two off of that, but I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do that. Another agapanthus, a little bit more. Here's the other Chicago cold hardy fig, and you can see it hasn't lost. This is still leaves from last year. I did use some wood chips when we trimmed our crepe myrtle. We borrowed our friend Brian's his chipper, and so I laid those on top, and that really does suppress the weeds. Another hibiscus, and this is my Geoben Senior, and I've been taking most of the stuff out of it and putting it over on Junior, and I think it's probably time to start building up Senior again. This window is right in front of our bedroom, and so it's nice to be on that side and look out and see what's going on in the backyard. But I've got some agapanthus, and these are volunteer vincas, impatiens, whichever you call them. My cranberry hibiscus, I've just kind of let it go. Again, I've really just I've done what I had to do. This is all wood chips from it's somebody will I get some from Brian, and we do some, and you can see, so I'm like piecemealing along. I don't have a really solid look to my wood chips yet, but boy, if somebody brought me about 300 pounds, I think I could have it. This is a volunteer sweet potato that I just left go, and I put this little column here, so little shepherd's hook, so that I could let the vine grow up, and I'm sure I'm getting nice sweet potatoes down here. This is the original moringa. I think you can see that's probably 12 feet high at least. And this is the one that was leaning over against the fence, and my neighbor was concerned, so we came and we trimmed it back. Now what I need to do is I need to cut all of this off and then take it right back and then let it flush out. I'll show you one that has already done that. Plumeria, it will be another month. They've just finally lost. Last month, January, I guess, they finally lost the end of their leaves. I have the three big ones here. This one, the one at the end, and then this one right in front of the window. That's actually two plumeria that have grown. I think you can almost see that there's you see that section that's hanging further down. Let me see if I can pull in there. Yeah, that's actually a seed pod. They really do need to be trimmed back, don't they? But anyway, let me just turn you back this way. We've been collecting some branches here that I want to go ahead, and I think what I'm going to do is either dig that section out and make a hugelkultur, or make it over here. You can see I've got some like tissues and stuff. Tissues don't break down if you just try to dig it into soil. They really do need the heat of either a compost or to be put in a worm bin, and then they will break down and disintegrate. But lots of liriope. This is a Australian pine tree that I'm trying to find a home for and have yet to find anybody who wants one. I can't imagine why you wouldn't, but I don't have room for it anymore. Tomatoes, these are my Everglades tomatoes. Again, we're volunteers. And you can see all the little yellow blooms. We've had loads and loads of cold nights, and so they haven't really. I'm sure there's some reds in there somewhere, but I'm on my way for blood work in another half hour, so I'm going to try and keep myself clean. The mango, both of them, this one and the one that's further on down there, both have performed really well this winter. I probably should have topped them so that they don't get too tall, but again, I'm always not a very brave pruner. Down here through the center, again, this is a penta and it's a volunteer. This is another, this is a brown turkey fig, and you can see the buds will be back. This is Junior, and Junior is going to be used for an experiment. I won't completely go into the experiment now, but I will tell you that Junior is being used for an experiment, and Sunday I will share with you what that experiment is and what I'm doing. So, but Junior has been the best buy of the year. These are all moringa. They were little seedlings last year, and they gave me pounds of fresh moringa that we ate. I dried, I powdered. If it was too woody for us, you know, like I was trimming off sections, and I ground these up and gave them to the worms. It was just wonderful. My peach tree, this is the Florida peach tree, and it's supposed to only need I think 150 hours of chill time, and I think we really got it this year. So I'm really hoping that this is the third year. You know, first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. So you can see it's pretty decent size. I think after it bears and all this year, that I'm going to cut a lot of this off and kind of try to bring it down, because I really don't want a 15-foot peach tree in my backyard. Brazilian spinach is just a tremendous ground cover. I'm hoping this year just to take some starts of it. We haven't figured out if we like to eat it, but it's such a beautiful ground cover that, why wouldn't you want this, like under your shrubs or it obviously takes a good amount of sunlight because it really is right in the open. I have some zinnias here that I took some zinnias last year. I took the heads and just let them dry, and I came along and just sprinkled. I'm not the really rigid gardener, so for me, I like to just sprinkle things and see what takes and what doesn't. As a matter of fact, that sweet alyssum was planted probably here 3 years ago, and it came back 2 years ago, last year, and this year. So, or maybe it was just 2 years ago. Here's another moringa that I just chopped off, and I didn't think that it was even going to live. And obviously it has. This one, the jury's still out. I might just trim that down further. Same here. And you can see it's starting to come back. Another moringa that is a real decent size. It needs to be trimmed back. But I don't want to trim back right before a freeze, and we've had such cold weather, and every year we've gotten like a January, February last minute so I hesitated cutting them back this year to sticks. Everglades tomato, again, a volunteer. Let me step back so you can see. I mean, they start out like a little bitty thing, and then they kind of topple over, and then that will keep growing, and it'll just keep sending off the runners. And I suppose I could train it up something, but I tried to do it against the fence. We'll see how that works. My guess is it'll grow over the back of the fence and down, but what the heck, my Florida red maple, it hasn't started coming back yet. It's just lost its leaves, and I have 2 crepe myrtle over there and over here, and of course another mango. The tea leaves, the tea plants, that's TI. Cordylan is the name that people here in the United States use, and of course Hawaii is one of the states, but it's like it's like its own world. But anyway, they say tea plants over there, and so that was where I learned it, living there. And they seem to have come through the winter. I do have some dead ones to pull off, some that are looking bad. Here's the other side. The peace lilies seem to have come through the winter, and they seem to be spreading. The one big monster I have back here is this staghorn fern, and would you believe it was given to me about, I don't know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and the guy who gave it to me, it's in a basket, and it had matting in there, the cocoa core base, and it had one of those. I had one to snap off about 3 months ago, and I'll swing around, and I laid it here thinking that I would come back and try to find something to put it on, and it looked half dead, and then all of a sudden it started sending out all of its parts, and now it's attached to the ground. So I'm not quite sure what to do with it, but anyway, that's the yard. For those of you up north, you're looking at this and going, oh, so much color, because you have none quite yet. And yet I'm looking at it and going, oh, it really does look kind of drab. I need to get some flowers here. So with that, I will say, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful March, and say a prayer for me that my blood work comes out all right and that they're able to get blood out of me, because it's always a struggle. Anyway, garden what you've got. I hope you guys will come back and see me again real soon, because you know I'll be here. Take care. Bye-bye.